Hello, Michael Irish Football Fan TV. This is our opposition preview. I'm joined by John from the Scottish Football Forums podcast. I found you guys on Twitter, but John, I suppose do you want to tell us a little bit just about your podcast and where people can find it? Firstly,
Yeah, sure, no worries. Thanks for having us on, Paul. So, our podcast, we've been going for 11 years. So, it's evolved over time. Currently, we put out at least one show every week, sometimes a couple of shows, varied in terms of guests, whether we have ex players on, current players on, Scotland internationals from the past, even delving into some music guests as well at times that are Scottish. So, aye, it's good crack. We have a good laugh and we like talking about football. It's a bit of a pub chat. That's the way we can take the approach. Have a laugh with it.
yeah, I think that's the best way forward, isn't it? Because usually by the end of the game, that's usually where we all are. To be fair, we're coming into this game, which I wasn't expecting at the start of the group. Two defeats of two games that we would have expected to at least get 4 points out of two games. We would have expected to beat Armenia normally. We would have expected to be the second string Ukraine side. Fans aren't happy. A lot of people calling for the manager's head at the moment. I don't know where I stand on that at the minute. I think I'm more of I want to get the four games out of the way and then say what I'm really feeling in the midst of four games at such a close proximity. I don't really want to be going, oh, well, he should go and then we win the next two games because I just think that's silly. So I'm kind of waiting to dissect that situation. But you must be coming into this. I know you lost to Ukraine, but you got the win over Armenia. You must be coming into this game quite confident. The fact now that the fans are getting on the backs of the players and the manager, and obviously the two defeats, morale is low, it seems, within Irish football, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I would say in contrast to your guys, we've been in pretty good form with the exception of the Ukraine game. We'd been on an 8 game unbeaten run prior to that. And then obviously we had the good win last night. From our point of view as well, I think the squad is looking good. We've got a situation now whereby competition for places, even in positions that I don't think we had before. You look at even right wing back, that was an area we struggled before. We've now got Nathan Patterson in there, who's just back from injury, came off the bench last night. Andre Ralston at Celtic, who obviously last night scored in his first full appearance for the team as well. So all over the areas of the pitch, even centre back, an area we struggled before. There's competition. We changed our whole back three actually last night, and if anything, they probably played better than what the back three did against Ukraine. Though you would say the opposition we played last night, with no disrespect to Armenia, wasn't quite at the same level as Armenia. There was an interesting stat last night that prior to the game, every outfield player had scored for us apart from Ralston and McKenna. And the two of them scored. So everyone at the outfield players have scored, which is interesting. We were trying to work out if that was maybe the first time lineup is for Scotland is they've all scored a goal for the nation, because we're not great. We're not got great goal scorers over the years.
Yeah, I think we do went for a couple of goals. Still, I think there's players in our team that haven't scored goals. But we've obviously tried to go back and change things, like in terms of bringing through youth players, trying to change the style of play in which we were doing. It was going well up to a point up in March, and then the manager started saying that he wanted to win the group, and I just thought that was a bit premature to start saying that, without a ball being kicked. And we're at the end of the season. A lot of players are tired after a long, grueling season. Seamus Coleman being one who got injured, you know what I mean? He put some shift in to try and, to keep Everton up. I'm actually excited to see Nathan Patterson. Being an Everton fan, I'm excited to see what he's going to do. I hope that he will actually play, because I haven't seen him obviously playing in an Everton jersey yet. So it'd be interesting to see what he's capable of. But from our point of view, like the players that stand out for me would be John McGinn and
Yeah.
Andy Robertson, and maybe Che Adams to a certain point as well. I don't know who you would kind of say would be your three danger men.
Certainly John McGinn. I mean, John McGinn, since he's come in the team, and especially under Clark, has kind of upped his game. He's evolved. We've obviously got the song about him that everyone loves. It seems to be the song that gets sung straight away. 12 goals as well in midfield from about 40 odd games, so a pretty good record. He's our only player actually in double figures. Certainly dangerous from set pieces as well. Andy Robertson, naturally. I mean, everyone knows about Andy Robertson in football. And at times, he's maybe not as good for Scotland if maybe Tierney's not there. But last night he was terrific. And obviously, Champions League winner, won the league with Liverpool, cracking player. It kind of depends who starts. Like Shea Adams, I do like Shea Adams, though at times he gets a bit isolated if he's playing up front himself. Maybe a problem that you've got kind of similar as well with the setup you have. But Patterson can be key as well. Prior to him being injured in the fixtures towards the end of the previous campaign, he was getting in, he scored for us, he's created stuff as well. He's positive, wants to get forward. So I think we've got talent all over the pitch. It's a good time to be a Scotland fan at the moment.
I think it comes in cycles, doesn't it? Really, because
Yeah.
you know, yous were well overdue. A cycle of good players coming through. You just kind of went through that kind of period that we're going through now, where you had good Scottish players, but they were never reaching that kind of that next level that you wanted. They were all kind of Championship, League One,
Yes.
and maybe SPL or SPFL, whatever we want to call it, kind of players. Not top end Premier League players, but like you probably have now with I would say Tierney as well would be a top player. Obviously,
Yeah.
I think he's injured at the moment. Is he?
He is. Yeah.
Yeah, so he won't be he won't feature, but he's quality. Andy Robertson, Patterson, as you say, I'm looking forward to seeing him and what he can do. If he gets on at some point tomorrow, I'd imagine he will. And then you have McGregor as well, Colin McGregor,
Yep.
who I think is a quality player. I think he's your captain, isn't he? He was a captain against Ukraine, I'm pretty sure.
Andy Robertson's captain, but
He's
I
next
think
to the line,
McGinn took
probably.
no. I think McGinn took vice. I think McGinn took the captaincy when Ed Robertson went off. But McGregor's a guy that again, he's one of our
Well,
few
he's still the
experienced
captain
players.
anyway, isn't he? So.
Yeah, aye, one of our like experienced players in terms of like not far off 50 caps. And he seems to have thrived as well under Clark alongside Billy Gilmer coming in.
There's
Who
another player.
obviously great young talent. He actually never featured at all last night. I don't know if he's getting protected for the Ireland game on Saturday. Because prior to the Ukraine game, when we had started with McGregor, McGinn, and Gilmer, we were undefeated. So it could be that he's thinking, keep him for Saturday, rest him. He was carrying a wee knock at the end of the season. And he's so far for Scotland, he's been really good.
That's probably it. Then he's probably just resting him for to come in and have a masterclass against us at the Aviva, which would be just our luck at the moment. But no, like when we look at Scotland, we genuinely look at Scotland as a threat. And I remember thinking it's going to be a struggle to get a win here against these because your players naturally, like if you look at your squad compared to ours in recent years, we would have probably had a better squad, but now it's like reversed, and probably same with Wales as well. They're going up to a World Cup now as well, so I think we enjoyed a long cycle for a long time, but now we're going through a real period of a lull, and I just don't see us qualifying for it anytime soon. I mean, like if you were looking at it, who would you see off our squad as people that you would be kind of fearful of?
See, at the moment, it's a difficult one. You don't want to end up going into like getting your it coming back to haunt you. But there's not anyone in the Ireland team at the moment that particularly worries me, which is probably a dangerous thing to say because we've had contests before with Ireland whereby we've gone into games and thinking we're going to win, and it's not quite happening. So at the moment, I did watch your highlights from the Armenia game. You seem to do have a bit of pace up front at least, which might be a bit of a trouble. And I know the boy Cullen in midfield is what Anderlecht. Certainly a kind of danger, but a bit like ourselves, I would say both teams are probably lacking in terms of creativity. Those kind of players that get you off the seat. So
Yeah, I see with you guys though, you have the likes of McGinn and stuff like that, who at least looks like he's going to score. We've got Jason Knight, who's a good young player coming through, but
at
he
Derby.
he has a ways to go just yet, but I still think he's going to be a good player. We've got championship players like Malumbi and stuff like that who hasn't played yet, and I just checked on UEFA there that Hendrick and Cullen are both on. If they get a yellow in the Scotland game, they'll miss the next game, the Ukraine game. So they played the last 2 games. I'd be interested to see. I think if you take Cullen out of the team, it takes away our tempo player who kind of controls the game from that sense. But I think Hendrick is due to come out of the team because he just hasn't been playing well.
What
But I
about the young
think
boy Parrott? Is he? I know he's rated at Spurs, but a young guy, he's not really played much top level first team football,
he
has he?
he played against Armenia, and I think he was played out of position. He was played as like an attacking midfielder rather than a striker, and it just didn't work out for him. He didn't play badly, but he just he didn't stand out, if you want to put it that way. I think one player who could make a difference if he starts is Michael Obafemi. He's had a good season at Swansea. I think he got 12 goals and he got a number of assists as well on top of that. I think he could go with him. Will Keane obviously came in off the back of a really good season with Wigan, but I really don't think every time he's played, he's looked out of his depth for Ireland. But for Wigan, he looks very good, to be fair to him. So I think CJ Hamilton came on against Ukraine last night and he looked decent and direct. He's at Blackpool. But again, he's unproven. I think Obafemi and Callum Robinson will be our most dangerous threats. But Robinson, he started again, came off early, so there's a chance he'll probably play. So it really depends on how Stephen Kenny operates. We'll have a better idea tomorrow. We'll know who's injured after his press conference. That's at 11:30 tomorrow morning. So we'll know who's going to be in the squad, because I think if John Egan goes out of the squad, someone like Darragh Lenihan will come in for him. And then, because he went off injured, but I don't see anyone else. Like you'd have heard about it by now that they were in training or something. But no one's, Coleman's still there with a groin injury, but he hasn't gone away because he still might play in the last 2 games. That hasn't been confirmed tonight. So tomorrow we'll be telling kind of who'll be there and who'll be playing. And I think a lot of people would like to see young Festi Abazelli play at Derby. He's just going to move to Udinese as well. Wayne Rooney was a big fan of his, and he plays right wing back. He can play as a winger as well. And at the moment we're struggling for wing backs, and we're playing Enda Stevens, who looks like he came into the camp with an injury. He just doesn't look the same player as he did maybe last year. And I don't know whether he's lost half a yard or is he just not fit.
Yeah.
Then we had Cyrus Christie come in, who again, he wouldn't normally start. Matt Doherty's been a big loss, but you have to deal with these things, I think the formation really suited Matt Doherty, this 5-3-2 or whatever way, or 5-2-3, 5-2.
Yeah.
Whatever, 2-1, whatever way you want to go, 3-4-2-1 or whatever it is. But it's a bit annoying because when Doherty's not in there and without his pace and creativity, we do look a bit lost from a wing-back point of view. Yeah. If you don't have pace in those positions. Ryan Manning at Swansea was left out of the squad the other day as well. So we have options there. It's just whether he's brave enough to go and pick them and maybe get rid of some of the older players. Like James McLean probably come back in at left wing-back, which he's had a really good season at Wigan and stuff like that. But I'd rather just see the younger lads coming in and just trying to see what they can do, because at some stage you're going to have to trust in them to build for the future. So if I was you as a Scottish fan, as negative as this sounds, I wouldn't be that concerned. If I'm being honest, I'm hoping that I'm wrong and that Ireland turn up and get a result. But you must be looking at it like rubbing your hands, going like we're facing them at a really good time, because not only do we not have our strongest team, is that we're probably going to pull out players that will maybe make us weaker as well coming into the game now on Saturday.
Aye, because what was that I read? I think you're like 10 home matches without a competitive victory as well. Not won a game in the Nations League. So, yeah, at the moment, we are. We're looking forward to it. But I suppose the thing will be, in terms of the players, a lot of them on the week or so, is it going to turn into your kind of old-fashioned cup tie where they both go long and it turns into a bit of a kind of scrappy match? I'd like to not think that. Our style of play under Clark's improved, whereby we want to get the ball down with the talented players we've got in midfield. Maybe at times, though, I suppose we're a bit predictable. I think when you look at us, you know that we're going to try and get down the wing backs, put plenty of crosses in. But it worked last night. I think football can be a simple game. Just get lots of crosses into the box, get men forward, and then get goals. And the good thing is, like I was saying earlier, we've got a goal threat from all over the pitch, which is good. So I don't think we're going in overly confident, but I think if we are to think in terms of winning this group, I think the expectation is to try and get 12 points from the two Armenia games and the two Ireland games, and probably see Ukraine as being the kind of challengers for the group.
Yeah, well, look, if I was from your, I know you're not saying in an arrogant point of view, you genuinely feel that, and it's hard to blame you when you kind of look at the squad that you have and the way he's been playing. The way Steve Clark has you playing, he's a fantastic manager in my opinion. I'm just looking here. We have our head-to-head. We've won 4, you've won 4, and we've drawn 3. So it'll be interesting to see if someone wins tomorrow, then they go ahead of each other. And if we draw tomorrow, then we're 4 all going into the game in, I think it's September. And,
24th of September.
Yeah, so, I don't know. What way is the form? The form is, so we've 1 drawn, 1 drawn, 1, 2 losses now. And you guys have 1, 2 draws, a loss, and now you're win in the UEFA Nations League. So you are coming into this in better form than us. Obviously, you just won the game. But what way do you think you will line up? Like what formation, and kind of will players like Patterson maybe play instead of Ralston, consider it's such a quick turnaround? Or what way do you think Steve Clark might line up?
I think I would expect the fact that Lyndon Dykes had to pull out the squad. I would expect we will be 3-4-2-1. Last night certainly giving Clark decisions to make. I don't know whether he'll put Patterson back in to start on Saturday based on the fact he's only played 20 minutes of football since March. Ralston was man of the match last night, so it could be that he starts again. Left wing back, Robertson's going to play, and then centre backs. I would expect, I hope that Suter and McKenna start. Maybe Hanley will come back in. And then a midfield 3 are McGregor, Gilmore, McGinn, probably with Ryan Christie playing just off of Shea Adams. That would be my expectation. So that's not actually wait a minute. Have I missed out a player? No, that would be about right. So yeah, I think we'll look to try and maybe make the crowd nervous early on as well. We should have a good support with us. I think there's a fair few folk I know that have got tickets in the home end. So I would expect there'll be a good following from the Tartan Army as well.
Yeah, I think it's a game, as you say, there'll be always going to be a bit of argy-bargy and battling in these games, because with the teams being so close. But I think the Irish get on very well with the Scots. I don't see there being like any horrible stuff going on or any fighting really going on.
No.
You maybe on the pitch you might get, I know Coleman and Robertson don't like each other from Everton and Liverpool.
Yeah.
But all in all, I see it being a fairly well contested game, but nothing, no leg breakers or anything like that. You would hope. But yeah, I suppose we'll just finish on a score prediction. Lastly, John, before I let you go, how do you see it going? And then I suppose I'll give mine afterwards.
Well, I think the fact that you're struggling for goals, I'm going to go for us to win 1-0. That's my thinking.
Okay, and who's going to score for you?
I'll go for McGinn.
I can see that happening. Okay, I'm gonna go. I don't see us winning, so I'm going 1-1.
Who's going to score for
you? The famous 1-1 win we like to call it. Who's going to score for us? Shane Duffy's due a goal. He was unlucky not to score the other night. I think he's due a header, and he's been our biggest threat. And if he doesn't score, I'd like to see maybe Obafemi score. But I just want to see us turn up, put in a performance that gets the fans on the edge of their seats, and not just be lethargic and not look like we're completely lost when we get past the halfway line and we don't know which way we're going. So I'm just hoping for some sort of positivity and a decent result. But look, may the best team win. I want to say huge thanks to you, John, for joining me and coming on, and for anyone who is listening that might be a Scotland fan or just a football fan in general, where can people find you and the lads yeah, look, give yourself a shout out there and just let everyone know where they can find you.
Right, no worries. You'll get us on Twitter SFF Podcast. You can follow us on there. In terms of the podcast itself, you'll get it on the usual podcast platforms. So Spotify, Apple, Anchor. Just search Scottish Football Forums podcast and you'll get us there. So we've got, as I say, a variety of podcasts weekly. So yeah, get involved.
So there you have it. John's gone with a Scotland win. I've gone with a draw, a 1-1 draw. Let us know what you think it's going to be. What did you think of this little chat? I always enjoy the opposition previews and kind of get a lowdown of the teams. In fairness, Aram with Armenia was spot on with everything that he said, and so was Adam from Sorry a Lot Donsk. I just hope you're right about everything except for the score, because they didn't predict the scores like that. But anyway, listen, John, enjoy the game. Are you going to be over for it actually?
I'm not making it over. No, unfortunately not. I'd like to go on, but got a holiday coming up, so I'll save the cash for that. Dublin's an expensive place.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll catch up with you for the game over there. Well, we hope to do some stuff for that anyway. So I'm sure we'll be speaking to you soon. So thanks very much for your time, John. And anyone who's coming to watch the video, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. If you're listening on podcast, don't forget to give us a rating. And if you're listening or watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. I'll speak to you all soon. Thanks for watching and take care.